Hello, everybody. Welcome to Outlaw Nation on the Shady Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Foster. And on this show, we talk everything outlaw, Billings Outlaw football related. We'll have coaches, we'll have players, we're going to have some fans, we're going to have some exciting shows for you coming up this season. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so now so that you can stay up to date with all the shows that we have coming up.
Thank you to this episode's sponsor, TDS Fiber. At TDS Fiber, our fiber internet gives you more when you need it most. Visit us at tdsfiber.com to see where our fiber internet will take you today. Once again, thank you to TDS Fiber for sponsoring the Billings Outlaws and this episode of Outlaw Nation.
A little change of pace this week. We've been heavy defense, talking to a lot of defensive players. This week, we're going to go offense, and who better discuss offense than the newly appointed offensive coordinator, Gabriel Martinez. Gabriel, welcome, Coach.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. Thank you. How was the flight coming in from Texas, I believe, right?
Yeah, quick and easy. Lubbock to Denver, a little layover in Denver. Got to hang out in the United Lounge for a little bit, and then Denver to here. No big deal.
Very nice. Is this your first time in Montana?
First time, yeah. I have some family up in Minnesota, North Dakota. We've been there in the past, but definitely not these neck of the woods.
Coach Laughlin gives you a little bit of time off. What's the first thing you're going to go check out?
Man, I'm a big bison buffalo guy, so I'm going to go try to find some live bison or buffalo to go look at.
Outstanding. Now, you and me were joking about it snowing in Texas, I think a couple of weeks ago. And I was joking around that, hey, you better get used to it coming up to Montana. It's a lot of snow and a lot of cold here too. But you actually had a pretty unique situation that you were able to coach in last year. And I think it definitely helped you prepare for the snow and the cold here. Can you tell us about where you were and what that overall experience was like?
Sure. Yeah. Last season, I spent March to July in the Czech Republic, so in Europe. The first month easily was bitter cold and snow and, no indoor facilities there. So, it was outside 11-man ball. So we were outside practicing in it. And I'm a big polar bear myself, so I don't care. But yeah, it was awesome. It was great. I got to see half a dozen countries, Poland, Slovakia, Austria, went through Prague to play Germany. So, great experience. A lot of love for football up there. Surprisingly, you wouldn't figure so, but they do a great job. The guys I met were very passionate, very hardworking. You'd be surprised how much they were able to soak up virtually from a playbook before I even got there. So did great. Finished third. I was head coach in DC there. Finished third in the league, made it to the semifinals and playoffs. Just it's football at the end of the day, but with a bunch of Czech nationals and one American player and one American coach. So it was pretty neat.
The NFL game in Germany it looked like absolutely insane. It looked so much fun. Mm-hmm. Was the experience that you had similar to that?
Very much so. Even our home matches there in Ostrava, I mean, we probably were able to fit 500 people into that, newer stadium they built, but very rowdy, very loud. Playing in Prague was awesome. Another place that we played, Vysočina, they have a huge, just tremendous fan support. So that was always great. And they just love it over there. A lot of the locals would travel to those NFL games. And, of course, their big thing over there is hockey and soccer. But that passion translates right over for football. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. You still sporting your signature shorts and tank top, even though it's cold out?
I sure am. I was out there today with Coach Smith. We went to Muya Burger, and I had a hoodie and some pair of basketball shorts on. And that's how it'll be until it gets below like 20 again. Then I'll put on a pair of sweatpants or something.
I love it. This team's got quite a few changes from last year to this year, especially on offense. How do you feel about the current roster? what do you think are the biggest strengths? What do you think are maybe the things that are the most that need to be improved on?
We're really excited. We've done a really, methodical job of putting it together this roster. I've been a part of other places of, as OCs and director of player personnel and director of recruiting. And sometimes you kind of just add guys to the max roster limit and go forward with it and, let camp cut down those that don't need to be there. And, Coach Laughlin is wise and just full of football knowledge. So, the way that, he made us evaluate, go through these guys, we're just, extremely excited to get started. The guys that we have a few guys coming back, a lot of guys that are coming in new to Billings, whether they be rookies or indoor vets. So we're just, we're happy to be here. We're ready to get to work.
Fantastic. Without giving away any trade secrets, I'm pretty sure there's no Chinese spy balloons in the area this evening. But what is your vision for the 2023 Billings Outlaws offense to look like?
My big thing is I like to be creative. The indoor game, whether it be CIF or NAL or IFL, a lot of it's copycat, just like, the NFL is with, they copycat from college and from high school, and which is great. We're still going to do a lot of the same things that, have brought success here before. But there's going to be little wrinkles that I like to put on the offense. Some guys that normally wouldn't be lining up certain places or, getting the ball and, just giving a new layer of creativity to the offense. And we're going to be efficient. We're going to be, highly disciplined. And then most of all, we're going to put up points. That's the biggest thing we want to do.
Speaking of putting up points, everybody's talking about the new rule changes going into the season. As an offensive coordinator, you guys, every quarterback and offensive player I talk to, they're just like, yeah, let's get to it. Are you excited for the new rule changes as well?
Yeah. I embrace change. There's no point in I've found through life and trying to negate what's happening. It's already, it's voted in. I'm going to embrace it and preparing for it, and it's on my call sheet, and we're going to be ready to rep those plays that, will be highly effective in those situations when it comes down to it. It's stressful. I don't like, the additional stress, but, it's a challenge to me as a coach and to us as an offense. And I never shy away from that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be a great, added wrinkle to the league as a whole, make things more exciting and competitive. So we're ready to go full forward with it.
Nice. I know that most players at this level, they're still trying to achieve maybe a shot at the next level, whether it's another league or if it's, maybe even another shot in the NFL. Do coaches that are coaching at this level still kind of have that same mindset? Are they still trying to coach for another shot?
I sure hope so. That's my plan. I don't think I'm like-minded in that sense. I know, myself and, Coach Tay, our DC, I was always the young guy coming up, and he's even younger than I am. He's almost 10 years younger than I am. So, we strive for greatness. We want to keep climbing these ladders, and, I'm very blessed and fortunate to be in the position I am now. Turn this clock back 5-8 years ago, I prayed for this kind of opportunity, from doing it for free for such a long time as an intern. Some places getting paid peanuts to just, keep building the resume. And, to get to, go from seeing the world in Europe and coming up north here in Billings, I'm very appreciative, and I'm going to embrace it and give it everything I have here. But, definitely I made promises to myself and to those around me that support me to keep going.
I'm always asking players if there's a particular player or players that they study. Is that the same for coaching? Is there a certain coaching style that you particularly like, or a coach that you like to study?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I just love being a student of the game. You know, any coach that's coached professionally or collegiately, if they've written a book, I've probably read it. Um, you know, John Gruden, Belichick, Nick Saban, Mike Leach. You know, I got to spend a few years, you know, with him at Texas Tech, or a year with him at Texas Tech when I was there for a few years. But you know, the small bit of encounters I had with him, you know, his air raid offense and getting to spend time with coaches at the high school level that, you know, ran wing T stuff, that ran, you know, wishbone type stuff to where you're maybe passing 3 or 4 times a game at max. You know, you look at that, you think it's antiquated or maybe obsolete, but there's always something to learn. You know, so that's my biggest thing. I'll soak it up for anybody that's willing to. I've attended countless clinics and talks and, you know, back during COVID year and stuff, you know, webinars of anyone that would, you know, put up online that they were talking about, you know, football in general. So I learn from anyone that's willing to teach. And that's, you know, what I try to hang my hat on at the end of the day is I'm always trying to get better.
Nice. What's your favorite coaching moment to this point? I mean, you got a lot of experience between the States and overseas. Is there one that stands out the most to you?
Anytime you can win a championship, it's always special. You know, a lot of circumstances come into it. You know, we won the championship back in 2021 with the West Texas Warbirds. You know, we had an undefeated season there. That was my first full, you know, taste of indoor ball. The previous year got cut short because of COVID. So, you know, it was a great, perfect storm of things that happened with our schedule and the league and the players that, you know, we're able to recruit. We had some great guys that, you know, went on to play in the IFL and CFL and were, you know, on XFL teams, you know, even here recently. So it was a real special time. And anytime you get to go undefeated and, you know, the banner drops and the confetti falls and, you know, walk away with the ring, that's always awesome. So, you know, getting to do that, it was only couple hours away from home, so you know my family was there with me to celebrate it, and that was pretty cool.
Awesome. That sounds like a great moment. Coach, how do you design your plays? I mean, do you do it on Madden? Do you do it on Madden? Do they come to you in the middle of the night? How do you design your plays?
Madden, Madden's fun. I like playing Madden to unwind, but it doesn't do much for me creativity wise. You know, it's usually a sticky note at work and a pen whenever I think of something. If I see something I like on a Saturday or Sunday game, you know, during the season, I think, well, how can I turn that into an indoor play? You know, that concept, that motion, that, you know, formation, you know, how can I turn that into it? And so eventually, if it makes it to the sticky note, it then makes it into my binder. You know, I have a couple different notebooks I keep, and then eventually if it makes the cut from there, it goes into my online software and it goes into the playbook and into the game, the play sheet. So it's a process. It's something I always try to vet myself, and I have some great mentors out there that I send stuff to, and you know, Coach Moog in Iowa and Coach Taylor in San Diego, and some other indoor coaches that I've learned from and surrounded myself with, that, you know, make sure I'm not just thinking crazy. But yeah, that's the fun part to me. I can do that kind of stuff all day.
Do you allow influence from the players? Do you allow your quarterback to come to you and say, "Hey, coach, check this out. This is what I was thinking"?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At the end of the day, we're all here to learn from each other. You know, these guys, you know, have been successful in a number of places before this, and I want to know what they were best at. I want to know what route they like to throw. I want to know what they, you know, think about having the ball in their own hands. You know, what they prefer in certain situations. You know, what they like to do, you know, as we get closer to the red zone, what they like to do to start drives. And ultimately, if they're comfortable and knowledgeable about what we're doing and feel like they have a hand in the offense, they're going to soak it up better. They're going to be, you know, better productive on the field as an extension of me and my system, Therefore, why not?
Nice. Let's say I'm a young man who absolutely loves the game of football, but I didn't get drafted. What would be your advice to me or to them?
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. It's literally 2% of 2% that gets to play at that level. So you're telling me that slim of a ratio is in the same exact shoes that you are, or that other side of the ratio is in the same boat that you're in, but you're going to let things like the XFL, USFL, CFL, CIF, IFL, NAL, all these overseas leagues down to Mexico and Brazil and Europe and Japan, you're going to sit there and blame everyone else instead of working your tail off to go use one of the other leagues to springboard yourself. You're doing yourself a discredit and really, spitting into a lot of people's faces that helped get you to that point with all that talent. If you just stop, and unfortunately it happens every year. A lot of guys, they don't get drafted. They feel like they should have, and they curse the game of football, and it's sad. But there's also a lot of guys that keep after it. Guys like the 30 that we have coming to camp that are still getting after it. Just like the other 40 at every other spot in Gillette and Rapid City and Salina and everywhere else. That these guys are still going. They had some type of bump along the way, but they're still playing. They're still a professional in this field, and who's to say that they can't do what some of these other guys have done? Go win an MVP, in the league somewhere, get a tryout with the NFL team, and within 6 months you could be making a whole lot more money and on a Sunday.
Not only do you coach, but you're also affiliated with Pro Level Sports. Why don't you tell us about what you guys are doing for these young men, helping them advance through their football career?
Yeah. It's a blessing for me to be able to be involved in it, in the sense that I keep being able to help players. I love, my guys that I get to surround myself with on these teams, but ultimately it's only a certain amount of guys for a season. Indoor, it's even less because the rosters are smaller. But being able to help, like we said, those guys that, need additional film or additional training and progression through their career, navigate these waters of indoor ball, overseas ball, wherever it may be, and keep chasing their dreams. That's what it comes down to. It's a little unique because, a lot of guys will have a darker shade look at it as they're looking at what I do as a coach and as a player route, because they think there could be some type of collusion type thing. But like I always tell people, if you knew my heart and you knew why I do it to ultimately help these athletes, and you wouldn't question it. I have guys that I represent that are in Gillette. I have guys that I represent that are all throughout this league, in the IFL, and the XFL, and the USFL, playing overseas. I'm not biased at all where they play. It's whatever the best situation is for them to get on the field is where they're going to go. And that's what we do as an agency. So I'm very fortunate to do it. I love what I do on a daily basis. Keeps me busy and talking football, which ultimately is my passion. So, it's a unique thing that I get to do, and I wouldn't change it.
Training camp, I think, is less than a week away. What's the first thing we're going to go to work on as the offensive coordinator of the Billings Outlaws?
Right away, we're just setting expectations. We've done a good job of meeting with these guys virtually and group chats and apps and stuff like that to kind of set the scene. But Coach Laughlin is a great leader of men. I wouldn't be on this staff if he wasn't. I'm learning every single day. I know Coach Tay is learning every single day from him. He's always got a great story or two to tell about his time as a player and the coach in the NFL and these different leagues, CFL. So, we want to establish that culture right away with these guys. Even guys that were here last year, it's going to be a rather, big shake up to their mentality and perception of what Billings Outlaw football is going to be. We're going to be hard nosed. We're going to, be tenacious on the field. We're going to be smart and fast and just disciplined. But at the same time, we're all here, as a unit together. We can't get this done individually, us as a coaching staff or any one player by themselves. So that's from the word go. We set out to get that established and just keep going from there.
Fantastic. I am fired up for the season. I cannot wait. Coach, I really appreciate you being on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks again, Steve. I look forward to meeting you in person and, go Outlaws.
Absolutely. Everybody, thanks for joining us on Outlaw Nation. Again, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and look forward to seeing you guys.